Quick Wisconsin, again, didn't play well. So a lot of work to do there and continue to improve in all phases. Got to get our offense back on track, get a run game going, kicking game. Nothing glaringly good, nothing glaringly bad, but didn't make anything. It's hard where we're at. We need to impact the game in kicking if we're going to win some Big Ten games, especially playing against a quality opponent. So wasn't a bad performance, but, we need to make some money. We didn't. Defensively, again, just got blocked, got worked. They did a nice job, and we did not do a good job. I think we tabulated, 410 yards on 14 plays, and some missed tackles and some missed assignments got us. But Wisconsin didn't do anything unusual. A new quarterback, but kind of ran the stuff they ran. We just got to prepare and we got to play better. Thought we had a good week last week. The real deal is, we had battled through some close games. We need to see, what our resiliency and what our leadership and what our toughness is and how far we've came. Can we come back? Didn't like our second half effort. First time I've said that. I thought we've continued to battle, and we didn't battle like we need to and like the standard of what we're trying to build needs to be. So we'll see if we can have a strong week and a great challenge going to Penn State. The team has played very well, and they've lost a couple, yes, but they've been on a great run and lost two games recently to two quality opponents. So they're playing good football, and it'll be a good challenge. So with that, questions?
Do you do anything different to make sure that this team doesn't slide into some bad habits that it might have had after a game like that?
Well, again, we've talked a little bit, but I do, like I even told them after the game, for that being, quote, their last game on the field, seniors, handful of those seniors have been really, really good. Very unfortunate. We had a knee injury to Charles Love. Got caught there, caught a ball at the end, and got hit on the knee, and he's got an ACL deal. So that kind of basically ended his career as a senior. That's one of our 5 scholarship guys, so that's unfortunate for Charles. We still have Ted. We have Anthony Casaro has played for us, and Paul Phillips had kind of fallen a little bit behind coming off an injury, and he's been back practicing, and we had mentioned him a couple weeks as Scout Player of the Week. He was the week before. And we'll get Paul, so we'll still have some depth there and be okay. But it's unfortunate for Charles because he had battled off a knee injury last year, came back and was having some success for us as a complimentary player to Ted. And that was unfortunate there. But we did talk to the guys as seniors. That's, you can say, okay, that last experience is maybe something I don't like. But those guys have done a lot of things that we like. So we've just asked our guys, are we strong enough to continue to be what we want to be and go back and keep building? So we didn't point a bunch of fingers. I thought we had really good work last week. Apparently we didn't game plan well, and we just didn't react to some situations. We really settled down and played a pretty good second quarter. Offense took a little time to get on track. I think defensively we held them to about 11, 12, 13 yards until the kid popped the one run. On third and, matter of fact, they had 2 touchdown runs on 3rd and 11 and 3rd and 16. You'd like to think, hey, we're good. We were in position to make that play, and unfortunately, we just, didn't shoot our gun, didn't make a tackle, and a fast kid got out and made a good play for us. That took the wind out of our sails. The next quarter, we've got them 4th and 2, and we busted coverage and continue to drive that. Now the game's 31-7, so we're still going to play uphill. But I thought we settled down and had a chance to make it a solid Big Ten game. We're a little bit behind early, but going in halftime 17-7, I thought maybe we'd weather the storm and settled down and play ball, but we didn't. And then it snowballed. And again, I don't think we're back to what it was, but we'll see. Because I think this is really a pretty good week for us to see, are we mature enough, strong enough? Have we made strides? Because you guys had seen some practices. You don't see a lot of it, but, we've been having good attitude. We've had a good one so far. We had good practices last week. We just didn't execute play well. Love to see these men come back and respond to what our standard is. They have set the standard. We set it, but they've embraced it. Love to see these guys come back and have the week we need to have. If we're building our program, this is a good week to see what we got. I'm looking forward to seeing. It's going to be a tough challenge now. It's a good football team we're playing. It's a good place to go play. But they're going to be in our division every year. And we're going to play them every year, and every other year we're going over there. So we need to get used to playing Wisconsin. And apparently we're not at that standard yet, but we got to keep pushing to get there. So we'll see what we got. Is that it?
How much do you guys still zeroing in on your guys versus kind of dialing in on what Penn State does?
We do that every week, not to slight opponents, because you do have to know their tendencies, their formations, their tendencies of run pass, their blitzes, their coverage looks. So you talk about it, but to me, always, I think defenses have to be a little bit more concerned with the opponent because opponents change from week to week. A running quarterback spread attack versus a traditional attack versus a wishbone attack. So defensively, you probably spend a lot more as an offensive coach. And in my mind, I still spend a lot of time with that group and on that side. I worry a lot more about us and what we do in our execution. We're at a time of the year where you've seen a lot. You've seen most of it. And the bulk of our scouting report Monday was, and we're playing a very good team, but the bulk was us. And how do we respond? How do we practice? What's our leadership? What's our toughness? What's our competitive spirit? Do we fight and compete for 4 quarters, which needs to be our standard? And we spent a great deal talking about, and not looking at what we did wrong, but looking about what we're going to do to improve and move forward. So a lot about us.
How crucial was it, I guess, for the offensive line? Has that been maybe one of the reasons that the running game has struggled the last couple of weeks?
I think, at the same time, you throw it a boatload of times, don't get sacked. So, it takes 11 guys to block. So, a lot of times the tight end's critical. Backside reach blocks or front side point of attack on a down scheme or front side, sealing the edge. If you're running wide to a tight end, he's got to seal the edge. If it's a man scheme, he's got to maintain the end. If you're running inside plays, those cutoff blocks by the backside tackle and tight end are maybe more important than the front side. So it's all the guys, our line, is it lacks a little bit of size, but it's a good group and it's battling. And I think it's actually been reasonably pretty good. But when you're not physically developed with age yet, where you're overpowering, what's the word I'm looking for? Overpowering, what's the word I'm looking for there? Give it to me. Overpoweringly or something. When you just can't just line up and mash folks, because that's not our strength level yet. Tight end, same kind of deal. You're in a spread set, you don't have a true fullback. You lose the dynamic of a quarterback that runs because that's the extra blocker. So that being said, some of our run game's got to come a little bit off of the pass, whether it be the runs with the bubbles, the short screens, the high percentage throws. And the real deal is when I think we completed 25 of 44, and that's really not a high enough clip with the way we're doing things, because some of those are actually your runs. And so when you look at the numbers, it's just, we've got to get a run game going. But it's always easy to slightly outnumber, have one more edge player at safety, backer. Again, I'm not covering our line. They need to play better, but I think our line with its youth, and Will Maddie does a great job as the leader there, has been okay. At the same time, though, when you run the ball, you're a little bit better, and it's just a little bit of our Achilles heel with the personnel we have and with the injury and losing Trey a little bit with not having a couple walloping tight ends to seal the edge or big old fullback to lead up in there all day. We're a little bit of a spread team that has to be a little bit more pass-oriented right now. It's not exactly what we want, but that's the cards we're dealt, and that's how we've been playing them. And some weeks we've played it pretty good. But at the same time, we've got to find, whether it be good running game, we've got to find stress-free plays that get drives on schedule. Where you can get 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 consistently, not get 3rd and long, get a couple first downs and get a drive moving. So however you're doing that, you got to find, no matter what the offense, that's what you're looking for every week to get you in rhythm. What are those plays that get you 3, get you 5, get you some nickels, get you some first downs, and they get you rolling?
I guess quarterbacks on Saturday, did Nate kind of take himself out of the rotation a little bit with the fumble, or sort of what?
He actually got nicked up a little bit there and wasn't good to go in the second half. And he's back practicing, but he was kind of out there, so he was just out. So it wasn't a big deal.
How?
Just nicked. He just wasn't able. We just think, didn't think he could go. He's been practicing and back with us and good, but we were just in a situation where, it was Cam, and we had to have, get Corey's our third, although we're redshirting him. We'd like to get him back, but he's back with us practicing and should be good. Again, we've lost Charles Love injury-wise, and then Tim Bennett has a foot sprain, and he'll miss this game. Jakari's back going, still strength level, practicing some, not enough to really be in the mix yet. So I think those are the 3 guys as far as deals with it. Tim Bennett got rolled up and has basically, I wouldn't call it an ankle sprain, but I think what I'm being told is a foot sprain. So I think it's going to be a 2-3 week deal. I don't know if we'll get him for Purdue. Moving forward, I don't think it's a major deal. It's not a long-term deal, but he might be out of pocket for this week for sure, and we'll see next week. Nate's good to go. Just like I say, he had a little nick where he just wasn't ready. He just was out there for a little bit and just didn't think he could play. So that being said, we kind of had to get Corey ready. Didn't need him, but they both look good today. I think we'll go into game standard deal again. I would assume, unless Cam does poorly, he starts, and then we'll see him play it with Nate and let it play out like it normally plays out.
In terms of preparing for a big game, you talked about the quarterbacks even during warm-up maybe looking a little tight. Whereas, with the defense, you kind of want them to come out with their hair on fire in a game like that. Is that part of a young team learning how to approach a big game too? Quarterbacks need to stay calm. Defense needs to be really emotional, that kind of thing?
Well, you can be, and that's a great question. You can be too calm at quarterback because you've got to push to the edge, which is, I think, sometimes with Cameron's demeanor, we're trying to bring Cam on a little bit where don't be too cautious. At the same time, we put the game in your hand. The game's called football, and we put it in your hand, and you can mess it up quicker than anyone else. So we've got to, not be foolish. And so, but I just thought we looked a little rushed. We showed several examples to our team offensively where you're just a little off spacing of routes, no different than in basketball when you get cluttered up, that you don't space it out. We were first 3 or 4 third downs. It's really just us, our timing, our spacing. We're a little bit off, and we're off the field. At the same time, when you don't have the run game going, you're a little bit like an outside shooting basketball team that if your shot's off a little bit, you can be a little bit off. And we were a little bit off Saturday, and that's a credit to the opponent. And it's also, us learning how to, whether it be handling into the wind, because there was a smidge of wind, but there was at Illinois. Very comparable day as far as breeze, I think. But you've got to handle that element in the Big Ten every week, so that's not an excuse. We practice into the wind to get used to it. We practice outside every time we can, unless it's just horrific. We've practiced in the rain this year outside to get used to throwing it in the rain, and we practice with the wind. So the elements are just a part of football. And, we're going to play a style of offense where, I watch the Patriots and those kind of teams that throw it quite a deal in bad way. You just got to learn how to manage and play that kind of game. I just thought we looked a little, in the Coach Wooden or Coach Krzyzewski basketball world, a little rushed and a little in a hurry instead of just playing fast and quick, but don't be in a hurry. So I thought we're a little out of whack. And why? I don't know. Maybe, again, you have to learn that. But it's always easy to be that way. It's easy in any game to be just a little rushed, a little quick. Defensively, you do need the emotion you're talking about. At the same time, though, you can do a bunch of jumping around, rah. It kind of wears off after a while. At the end of the game, it's still just the intensity and competitiveness of flying around and diving and getting off blocks and playing relentlessly. And we didn't do that in the second half. So, but you do need emotion as a football player. You need to control it. You need to play with rage. It needs to be controlled. And I think quarterbacks need to have that. I don't want the quarterbacks calm, but they need to also play within themselves. So it's, again, learning how to do that. And again, we did not manage that game like we need to. Is that because the game was big? I don't know. We tried not, in my words, we practiced in our terms. We practiced like a normal week. We tried to not make it bigger than it was. It did get a little bit, quote, media hype a little bit more. At the same time, this is another media hype game to us. Maybe there's not things at stake, but you go into State College, it's a difficult place to play. It's a bunch of people. It's a tremendous program. It's a great football team. It's a team that we haven't beaten years past, and it's the next opportunity and chance for this team to make a step, and really to make a step coming back off a poor performance. How do we come back, prepare? What's the process? Do we embrace the process? Do we go through that the right way? Do we go out and play as hard as we can? And then do we make some plays and see what the scoreboard tallies up at the end and see where we stand? So we're lucky to have a great opportunity this week and the weeks to come.
Challenge in the history between the two clubs as a carrot in front of them is, this is a real goal that you guys can accomplish this week to be the first IU team to beat Penn State.
Well, again, we're looking for things to play for. We're going to play this team every year. And, historically, we have not played well recently and haven't, last year we've been up and down and not played that good this year. Got a couple wins, but still haven't played like we need to. So we're building. But as we build our program, the deal is you want to compete against Wisconsin. They're in our division. Ohio State, they're in our division. We're going to play crossover Michigan State. We're going to play Illinois. We're going to play Purdue. We're going to play Penn State every year. And our deal is to play and be competitive and win. So as we build, we've got to build to play with this football team. And not make the opponent bigger than it is, but, we've got to keep building to get a win. We've gotten, quote, one road win. If you're going to be a winning program, you've got to learn to win on the road. And if you're going to play in the Big Ten, you've got to learn to win in challenging road environments with big crowds that are loud and great stadiums. That's the beauty of playing in Big Ten. If our guys didn't want to do that, they should have took a smaller offer and went somewhere else. So let's embrace the challenge. And so it's more about the challenge of just playing a great opponent that you're going to play every year than really talking about the history. But it is, nice to, you can do something that hasn't been done, but at the same time, it's about preparation, executing, and for us, it's about a positive response to a good week that came out in a poor performance. How do we come back to work?
It was great listening to you talk about quarterbacks. Buck had a line earlier said, I think you might need to fingerprint Matt McGloin. He looks like a different guy this year from last year. But what have you seen from McGloin that where he seems to have really blossomed under O'Brien?
One, he's played a lot, and two, with Coach O'Brien and Coach Fisher, just the package scheme, what they're doing. They know how to run the ball and protect the quarterback and throw the screens and the bootleg game. Good mix. I really enjoy watching their offense and their play calling and the rhythm that they play with offensively. So I think they've done a tremendous job. And but the quarterback is the guy that makes it all go. And Matt's played outstanding. Played very well, very much within himself. It's a credit to not just coaching, because the young man has to embrace it and do it. So it's one thing to say, that guy's doing a good job coaching, and I know they've got great coaches there because I know those guys. But also, it's a credit to the young man because he's got to go do it. And it's his commitment, his work, his leadership, and his poise, his play-making ability. And I think he's done an awesome job. He's a heck of a player.
What do they do that fits him, I guess? What is it about this offense that fits him so well that
Well,
he's worked to make happen, I guess?
Again, and there's some unusual dynamics with the transition going on, but now they still have got, a big offensive line, veteran group. Their tight end play has been awesome. They've been able to replace, because the line has played well with good tight ends, they've replaced the running back they lost with kids that run hard and running the ball well. They're going to have some balance in what they do. They use some tempo in what they do to get you on your heels. And then as a play, just when you watch them, they move the pocket, which takes stress off the line. They use the screen game very well, which takes stress off the line. They maximum protect, take deep shots and back the secondary up. It's just, they piece an offense together in a very good way. And like I said, it's a credit again to all their pieces too now. They have a receiver that's one of the leading receivers in the league. They've got a couple tight ends. I guess one of them might be injured now, but their tight ends, I think at one point in time they had more catches than any tight end group in the country, so they use that position well. And to me, they move their parts around. They're well coached. It's a great scheme. And it's not a great scheme. It's just how it's put together. A lot of people run the same plays. I think it's been one of our problems offensively. Credit to the defenses that we've played. But I think as we've ran our offense, we've gotten into running plays, and we haven't gotten into rhythm. We've gotten things going where we've evolved during a drive to get a defense on its heels and to stick a run and move a pocket and take shots and do those things. Like I said, competing against these guys is going to be a tremendous challenge for our defense. But as coaches, we watch tape, and because I always watch a lot of the other team's defense, you're watching offenses go against that. And I really enjoy the Penn State offense, and always have. When I say watching Coach O'Brien, because I'd always record Patriot games, record Colt games, watch Peyton Manning play. You record games and watch good teams, watch good players. You look at them in the off season. And so it's just how it's all pieced together and how you do things where you put your players in good position. It's a lot of fun to watch. It'd be a good challenge for our defense. Is that it?
What do you see in them defensively, I guess? Just in terms of
They're solid, big front, very good defensive linemen. Really impressed. Their two outside backers, Hodge and Mike Maudie, are special, and love the passion that Maudie plays with. He's outstanding. And again, we've got to get we've been playing okay prior to last week, but we were playing okay with the offense, still not playing like it needs to. We need to get our offense back in gear, and this is going to be a tough challenge on the road. Communication's always an issue when you're on the road in a big arena. Really, the first time we've played in a big crowd. We would go to UMass, but there wasn't a lot of people, and we played at Navy in Illinois, Northwestern. The crowds were, in the 40 range. You're going to go over, and I guess it might be a fall break or Thanksgiving break, but still that place is going to get loud. So the quarterback's ability to communicate your ability to, hear your snap counts, work your silent counts, all that adds to the stress of the offense. But that being said, and you're playing one really, really good defense. We're also playing an offense that's very capable of scoring points. But like we said when we first got in here, this season, we need very good quarterback play, and we need to be an offense that scores points to have a chance to win. And our defense has gotten better. We did not have a good second half. It snowballed. We settled down, played pretty good until they popped the play, and we had a snowball defensive performance. We'll see if we can flush that out. We'll see if we can come back and play like we're capable of playing defensively. But at the end of the day, with kicking game and with offense, we've got to find points to win on the road, win Big Ten games, to have any chance against Penn State. And that's going to be a tremendous challenge because they're well coached, good players, but you're not going to score 7 or 10 or 14 or 17 and win an old-fashioned Big Ten game. That's not our style, and it's not the style they play. And so it's going to be a challenge. And I thought that the last few weeks against Iowa, even Illinois, I thought their defensive front was going to give us some problems. Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin building this game. We've played defenses that have had our offense not playing like it needs to play. It's a credit to defense, but we need our offensive kids to, we talk about responding. I really think our offense needs to respond as much as our defense, because if we have any chance this week on the road, we need to come back and play at a high level, and we have not been playing that. So we'll see where we can go offensively, because it's going to be a good challenge. It'll be a lot of fun. Good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.